So there's been a game that's making rounds right now in popularity on Steam, YouTube, and, well, I noticed it and I'm here to talk about it. And finally, there's someone to put these AAA title creators, publishers to shame because this game has been created by three people. Imagine three dudes make a game, put the time in, and actually release it as a finished product. No extra transactions and so on. You buy the game and you have it complete, ready to go from day one. Exactly, that's what they did. That's the secret formula to popularity and to have people actually play your game without any reason at all to be hating on it. Yes, some people may not like that kind of game, but they will not just buy it. That's simple as that. Not be baited in and overall just being overall disappointed for paying 80 bucks for a AAA title game. That is absolute dog shit. And, well, we're gonna talk about how this simple indie game is basically gonna probably kill off the current Battlefield game, especially comparing it to Battlefield 2042, which was an absolute dumpster fire on day one release, and, well, probably is still now. So the game we're talking about is BattleBit. It's been created by three indie developers, basically how you would compare a couple dudes in a cave with scraps they have versus a company, DICE, that has more money than God himself, and yet these three indie developers working in their free time, working overtime, improving the game and making it as complete as they can, made a better product than a company that essentially has almost infinite funds and, well, make basically more money than God himself, and yet the AAA title game is absolute dog shit compared to this indie game. Well, that for me speaks volumes. First of all, because yes, there is a supporter pack to help fund the game's project and so on in the game, but every single option for customization, skins, and so on is unlocked in the game. You don't have to pay anything extra. You just buy a $15 game and play it. Have fun with it. That's it. You can play with your friends, play on servers. The game is more complete. There's some bugs still in there as it is, but there's basically none. And then you take Battlefield, the most recent Battlefield, and, well, the game was absolute trash to the point it was unplayable. Sniper rifles were at a disadvantage, and so on. Assault rifles were laser beams, and the countless microtransactions that were in the game basically were squeezing out the money that people had, and not including the $80 you paid for the base version of the game. And, well, sucks to suck if you bought a higher tier game version from DICE or, well, Electronic Arts, which is just a massive, hungry for cash company that squeezes out every last penny you, the player, has. Let's, well, dive a little deeper, shall we? So, why do I think this game, BattleBit, will destroy the popularity of Battlefield and other games that should probably take lessons, like Halo Infinite, for instance? Wink. They should definitely look at these indie games that are blowing up in recent times and, well, gaining grounds and popularity, for instance, like Marauders 2. These indie developers take a nice game idea, work on the game until it's, well, mostly complete, or in instance of BattleBit, it's fully complete. It has basically no bugs, all the weapons are balanced already, maps are made, and everything has been added in the game, so it's a fully enjoyable, playable game. and then they release it on day one like that, as a full, complete game. No paid extras unless you want to support the game, and that's an optional thing. Everything else still can be unlocked in the game. And, well, people like it. They buy, see the game is pretty amazing, and they play it for a long time. The player base keeps growing and making rounds, and the game is very popular already. And then there's AAA title games, which are released dog shit incomplete at the very start, day one. Everyone buys it up, spends close to, in together, millions they sell in copies, and well, after that they just improve the game over time, over 2-3 years, until the next game releases like dog shit, and they do the same thing over and over again. And well, they start losing their reputation because indie games now come out more and more complete, and people are playing them more. And this is a very common occurrence nowadays. Every single game comes out from indie developers, mostly complete and ready to play out of the box. No extra additives, anything. You don't have to spend your real money on, let's say, some flashy thing to put on a gun, whilst basically the game's so broken you cannot even use that gun. And then there's indie developers. Oh yeah, you want this thing in game? Well, complete this quest and or reach some certain amount of level, kills, points, scores, whatever it may be, but you just unlock it. You don't have to spend your real world money. It's just how dedicated to the game you are. And well, I personally think these AAA title companies should take lessons from a prime example like BattleBit right now, or any other indie studio and game project that has been released and has been making rounds as very popular games and beating other games in popularity that come from AAA studios, just because of the reason that they do not restrict the players behind paywalls. They release finished games that you can actually enjoy, and it won't be as a teeth grinding wall punching experience that you cannot log into the game because there's this one error and you have to restart your computer. You log in like, oh yeah, now time to play the game, and you're sitting in matchmaking for hours sometimes, and then just to be booted off because there was an error, or falling through the map whenever you enter a vehicle, like in Battlefield 2042, or, well, any other bugs that you may encounter in these AAA title games that come out unfinished dog shit and then get improved over time, maybe for free, like quality of life updates that will cost you extra $20 that you already, let's say you spent $80 on the game, quality of life update comes out, it's $20, and you have spent on extra skins another 50. So basically you have spent $150 on a game that should have been playable from day one. Well, you spent those just so you could play the game, and I'm really, really disappointed in that a $15 indie game can blow a AAA studio game out of the water just because they actually put the time in and worked on the game on their free time. Yes, it took them 6 years in comparison to 15 months, but then again, we're talking about 3 people versus a full game studio. And this is like Battlefield franchise that we're talking about. They have hundreds of people working on it versus the 3. And yet, 3 people working their spare time because they have other lives and social lives to maintain, probably jobs and so on, and they still beat a AAA studio. This is just sad to see that these games that we grew up on, like Battlefield and so on, have become so greedy that they can't even release a finished product of a game from early on. And I really, really don't have an outro. I don't know what to say in the outro other than, well, Battlefield can suck my